afternoon, everyone. Let's talk a little bit about shotgun shells and patterns. Here I have an example of the 4 gauges we shoot here at Palmetto Bluff Shooting Club. The 410, which is the smallest of the bunch. This gun in a half-ounce shell will have 188 pellets in there. Then the next one up is a 28 gauge, a little bit larger than the 410, smaller than the 20. That in a 3/4 ounce load will have about 215 pellets. The 20 gauge, which is probably one of the most used shot gauges, as well as the 12, and a 7/8 ounce, which we shoot here, has 275 pellets. And then the 12 gauge, which is probably the most dominant shell shot, in a 1 ounce load, 350 pellets. Now all these numbers are relatively with a size 7.5 shot. Now what that means is 7.5, you have 8s, you have 9s, you have 9.5s, you have 6s, 5s, 4, 3s, 2, 1, all the way down. The lower the number, the bigger the pellet, which means the less they can fit in the cartridge. So if we're shooting 7.5 shot, 8 shot, 9 shot, which we do in the clay world, you're going to average 350 to 380 to 335 or so, depending on if you're using 8s, 8.5, 7s, 7.5s. So, saying all that, I just wanted to get you to understand how many pellets you have actually. So whenever we talk about pattern, the pattern is just like throwing a handful of rocks, although we have pellets. So in a shotgun shell, we have the pellets, and I'm going to pour them all out here. They're nice round pellets, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but we'll zoom in just a moment. But they're all contained in here by this wad. This wad holds all the pellets. So if I scoop them back into the wad here, all the pellets sit inside this plastic chamber called the wad, which sits inside the shell, and behind it is powder. There's a little cup in the back. Powder goes in there. When you pull the trigger, a pin hits the primer, ignites the powder, pushes this wad down the barrel, and as it goes down the barrel, it opens up like a parachute, and all the flaps come out like this and stop, and allows the pellets to keep moving. So I told you all that just so you can understand how the pattern works. The pattern is very similar to this dry erase marker here. It's a tube, it's a piece of pipe. It looks just like this coming out. Andrew did a video earlier, or you'll see later, on choke tubes and restricting the shot pattern. It's not a two-dimensional pie plate like some people think, and it doesn't spread out really quickly depending on the shell you shoot and or choke you use, but it is actually like a piece of pipe, and it's about 3 feet long, about as long as my arm from the tip to my chest. So a target can actually fly into the front of the pattern, the middle, the back end of the pattern. So when we talk about patterns, when we're shooting at something directly coming into us or going straight away, the pattern looks like this. It's followed, it's in a straight line, just like a pipe. If you shoot a crossing target that's coming across and you shoot the pattern, that pattern actually looks like a J. It starts here and it curls, believe it or not, because your gun is moving sideways. The best analogy I can give you is if you take a water hose and spray it and then move it along, the water curls. So does the shot pattern. So when you see someone really break a target really hard across her, it hits the front of the J and the rest of the pellets curl into it and break it. So now, saying this, the pattern with the choke tubes, we restrict the diameter of the pattern. So we're going to take a couple shots just to show you how all this works, and then we'll come right back, so stay tuned. So we're going to take a shot into the blue sky in slow motion to see if you can see how the wad travels out of the barrel holding the pellets. The wad opens up and stops. It might fly off to the side sometimes. That's what a lot of people think they break a target, because they see the wad fly. And then you're going to be able to see the pellets just take off out into the distance and start spreading out. Now this is going to be a two-dimensional video, so you're just going to see it from the rear end. But just imagine what you see being a long stretch like a piece of pipe. Okay, we just took a couple shots, and if you'll watch it closely on your screen, and hopefully we can give you the ability to slow it down on the video bar down there. If you'll grab it, and that's in slow motion, make it even slower and just pull your cursor, you can actually see the pellets go out really slow and looks like a little dark cloud of bumblebees. And in reality, whenever we are teaching you guys or helping a student, that's what we're watching. We're watching the pellets go out and miss or hit. And so that way we can tell the student exactly where they're either hitting or missing the target.